Walking Dead fans? Guys, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer, and you're back at Comic Book Corner 2.0. Welcome back, fans. Today we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead. That's right, episode number 4, which is also known as Indifference. I love doing Walking Dead reviews, just for the pure fact is, even though it's getting further and further away from it, I love comparing the show compared to the comic book, references that they throw in or people that they kill off and things like that. Now, if you watched my episode last week, my review on the episode, I talked about Carol. And for you who have not seen the show yet, there is spoilers, so just be aware. Um, I talked about Carol, and I said Carol is going to be the next one to go. And in this episode, well, we get to see the departure of Carol, but not in the traditional Walking Dead way we have all seen before. We got to see the departure of Carol because Rick sends her on her merry way, packs her bags, and kicks her out. And it was very interesting the way that it happened in the episode. But before I talk a little bit more in depth about Carol, excuse me, let's talk about the actual episode itself, which majority of it was Carol, but there was a surrounding plot behind the whole Carol thing. Excuse me. First off, we get to see the other group, Daryl's group. Daryl, Michonne, Tyrese, Bob. They all had to go out and they had to go get medication to stop this swine flu or flu or whatever it is. And they had to go to this clinic or whatever it was. And you get to see some things along the way. You get to see trust issues with Bob. You get to see Tyrese, who's a little bit off the handle himself because of his love interest that just got killed, and he just seems overwhelmed with everything. Another thing you get to see with this character development in here is Bob. We learned that Bob has an issue with alcohol in this episode. And he tells Daryl earlier in the episode that, this is the reason why Zach got killed was because I was looking at a bottle. I put the bottle down, the whole thing collapsed. And Daryl kind of overlooked it at first. But later in the episode, when you finally see our group get a hold all the meds and things like that, and they get tracked down by a whole bunch of walkers, you get to see Bob holding his bag, and the zombies like are grabbing the bag, and he's holding it, and they're like, "Let it go, let it go, let it go," and he's like, "No, no," and you're in this anticipation of him having maybe medication or something that's gonna, help the group, and you find out it's a freaking bottle of whiskey, and you're like, "Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me!" And I would have loved to see Daryl throw Bob in the horde of zombies. I would have loved it. I mean, he got it right in his face. He's like doing all that and everything. I was like, dude, but I would have loved to throw that character in the horde of zombies. Character development wise, that guy is just worthless to the group, in my opinion. In this episode, he causes them setbacks, and he's a liability. And almost right now, Tyrese is in that way too, because his mental state is real weak. Michonne seems a little bit more laxed than what we've seen her before, and Daryl continues to be the leader that he always is, and just a great person in general. You need him to survive. So those characters there, that's basically what they did in this episode. You don't see Maggie, you don't see Herschel, you don't see Glenn, you don't see anybody except the one girl. I think her name is Lizzie. When you see Carol and her talking with Lizzie in the beginning. Then you meet these new characters in the episode, and they're, I even forgot their name, Anna and somebody else. I forgot the guy's name. I don't know if it's Sam or whatever it was. But they were pretty much worthless characters in the episode. Nothing real big happened with them. Now, the big thing that happens in this episode is the Carol and Rick thing. At the end of the last episode, you get to see how Carol and Rick, started this conversation. Did you kill them? And she's like, yeah, and walks off. So everyone's just kind of like, well, that's a lame ending. Rick kind of takes it for granted. And I think Rick had to digest it and feel that, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I've always made this rule, you kill, something happens to you. And he didn't really say anything. And in this episode, you really get to see Rick kind of analyze Carol on her character right now. And if you watch the episode, you really see how Carol has separated herself from human emotion to a soldier on how to survive in this apocalyptic world. And because she's got no more family, she's got no more daughter, so she's learned to survive. She's learned to be strong. Where Rick, all he has to care about is his children. And in the end, he's looking like, how am I going to keep myself safe? Maybe she's a threat to me and my children. And I think that's what he looks at overall. Never mind the prison people, even though he tells her that, that you're a threat to anybody. So to kick her off, it was unexpected. I was thinking that she was going to die or whatnot, but there was so much stuff to really look at while you're watching this episode with Rick and Carol. I mean, when you break it all down, what he said was correct. If Tyrese, find out that Carol killed them, those two, what would Tyrese do? What would the prison do? How would they look at Carol? You know, and in other facts, you look at it too. Carol says to Rick, "Well, you killed Shane. We've all made mistakes, you know," and she's right. So was it the right thing to cast away Carol? Is this the last time we're going to see Carol? Because usually when someone dies, it's the last time you see of them. So do you guys think that Carol is going to disappear, or do we think we're going to see her again? Do you think Rick is going to regret the decision? So there's a lot of unknowns here, if Carol is gone or not. And you know, I think to an extent he felt he did the right decision. Personally, I think he made the wrong decision. I think Carol is an asset to have, unless she totally starts getting too psycho. Like, you can see she's going a little bit crazy, but as of right now, I still think she was needed in this prison. But yeah, so what did this episode have to offer? It had to offer lots of character development with those two characters. Obviously, the departure of Carol. The side story here was the Daryl group and the medication. And but if you're looking for action, this is not the episode for it. Hopefully, we'll get to see some action return, things that are happening in the prison to the townspeople, and things like that. So overall, it all focused around Carol, and I thought it was an interesting episode. If this episode did not have a castaway of Carol, I would think that this was kind of a pointless episode. But besides that, the Carol thing was what made this episode worthwhile. So guys, leave me your thoughts, your opinions in the comments below. Did you like this episode? Did you think that Rick made the right decision? Are you happy to see Carol go? Do you want her to come back? Do you think maybe Rick made the wrong choice? Again, leave me all those comments below. And guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. And until the next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Guys, thanks for watching.